What's up, everybody? If you suddenly are watching this and see me throw this hat off my head, please be alarmed. It's not because I'm angry. I got rear-ended on Friday. And turns out the side of your head smashing off the headrest can hurt. So, the compression might be, a little much, but I'm trying to keep, the same aesthetic. But, today is about, the unity that we saw at Charlie Kirk's funeral and all the people that were there just honoring his life. And no matter what, if you still think he's a racist, bigoted, this, that, and the other thing, you might have differences, but apparently you never watched his whole entire videos and only watched clips. So congratulations, you guys have learned nothing in all these years. Look at the stuff, then make a decision. Most people are making the decision just off of selective clips, and that right there is some bullshit. So, get over that, for the love of God. Just, look at stuff. Watch the whole clips and then make your decision, not just solely base it off of the bullshit that you see, because that's all everything is, whether you're on social media or anywhere. It's just selective clips to make someone look like a pile of shit. Like, we should all be well beyond that at this point. But now that's out of the way. There's been a lot of things. Hello to all the new listeners. Hopefully you're there. I appreciate you. But, as everyone thinks I might be just a crazy person, I'm not really a crazy person, but there's a lot of different things, that I think have been cemented into America in the last couple of weeks since we lost Charlie Kirk, and I think we all saw it. No one can say that you didn't see it unless you're blind. I mean, to each their own if you want to be blind. Good on you, homie. I'm blind right now because I don't wear my glasses, but when I do the videos, there's crazy glare, and then the little someone that's in that room over there yells at me. Because it looks weird because of the glare, so I'm trying not to do it. But, there's a lot of things cemented since that. We're going to go to... we're going to go to the bad stuff before the good stuff. So please, for the love of God, stick around, because I'm not going for, 20-plus minutes today. It's not going to be a big thing. It's not going to be a long thing. And I tried my damnedest to make my voice as strong as I could so you didn't have to hear any of this stuff. I'm trying not to die today. I'm putting forth lots of effort. We all know my throat's screwed from years and years ago, but I'm going to put forth the effort to sound as good as I can, even though I hate the sound of my voice. But we saw a lot of evil that was cemented on all of our eyes and ears and our thoughts, let alone the actual event that happened with Charlie losing his life, because that just shows, no matter what Zuckerberg and all them say, how big of a pile of shit all the social media people are. Because forever ago, I did an episode on Jonestown, just to remember it, because no one really, talks about it that much. And we all know the overhead shot, right? It's, with all of them there, all the people that lost their life in Jonestown there, and you couldn't tell what they were. We all know the overhead shot. We've all seen it 1,000 times. Before I even got to post it, both of them picked it up and told me that, it could offend some people just from that, but the blood spurting out of his neck, that was up there for hours. And that literally shows no matter what they say, they're piles of shit. Sorry for my profanity. Again, no better way to put it. They're piles of shit. But the Jonestown thing, when you can't tell what it is on the ground around the gazebo, is, that gets flagged immediately. But, that didn't. Like, that pissed me off, really. But, really, the responses to it. The responses to it were ridiculous. We saw lots of people celebrating it, and those were lots of stupid people that never actually saw a whole entire thing he said. They just heard something, out of context and immediately thought he was psychotic, and that's pretty much what they do. I'm not going to spin into much, but you know what? Very fine people on both sides. I've shared the whole entire clip, shared the whole entire transcript, everything, even from the liberal news media. There was a lot more to it. None of them ever tell you that. Ever. Kamala still used it. It's what they do. Selective clips, the bleach thing, Russia, like there's just so many things. They just take selective little clips of shit from people to make them look like fucking monsters, and then somehow all these people with the internet that have all this time on their hands can't look up a whole entire thing just to make, to see if that's actually what they should be mad about. It's fucking disgusting, because it cost someone their life this time. So hopefully, at least some people, I saw take a stand with, Kimmel and the stuff he said, that's... Later on, I'm going to get to that. So if you want to hear my take on that, please stick around. But, that's not this part of the conversation. This part of the conversation is people celebrating someone's death. Like, how How out of your mind and sick do you have to be to celebrate the death of anybody? Like, I've had people that I absolutely haven't liked at all. In fact, let's just get personal. Pardon slamming on the desk. But, like, let's just go with, let's say, my ex-wife. And she told me I was crazy. There's nothing going on. They were just friends, even though they were texting at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning right in front of me. And then she deleted all of her texts from everybody on there. She told me I was crazy. I was out of my mind. She accused me of all kinds of things that weren't true. And now they're married and they have a kid. But you know what? I still wouldn't want anything to happen to him because he's the father of her children. No matter what, I'm a human being. Life means something. That's the thing everyone's lost, grasp of, which comes back to, I think when they, get people to argue that, we heard Charlie do it a million times. Does it have a heartbeat? Does it have brainwaves? Yeah. Do you think you still be able to get rid of it? Yeah. If you can dehumanize the unborn, the rest of us are, easy. And that's really, my take on that. If you don't like it, hit me in the comments. Tell me what you think. But I can see all the goddamn comments. Or you could text me at the Jesse Rosinski Show at 2146media.com or just Jesse at 2146media.com. And we can have a discussion via email, email messenger. I don't care, but I really think that the second they made that happen, that dehumanized just all life and made it not matter, which got us to what happened and made it a lot easier. That's just my take on it. I think it's right. I mean, there's at least a lot, that makes sense in there, and people celebrating it, I mean, I'm not the one to judge them. They'll have to get judged down the road. But I mean, if you're celebrating the, you cannot say that you're the, the righteous side of anything when you're celebrating the death of anyone anymore. I mean, we're not in the world of, the Stalins and the Hitlers and, a lot of terrible people. I mean, there's terrible people now, but nothing at that level. People all believed he was just because, people just heard it so much. And, bullshit is just so easily spread. And, that's definitely been, cemented and built into everything. And, it's all done off of clips on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. A lot of things are built off of that, across all kinds of bad things. But that's what built this up. And no one's actually taken the time to look. That mind boggles me. Because at least if I don't like someone said they said this, the first thing I do is go to find the whole entire clip. Because they're normally not hard to find. You can hear the whole entire thing in context and what they actually said, not just 9 or 10 seconds to make you hate the motherfucker. Again, pardon my French, but if you believe that stuff, I'm sorry. You're a motherfucker, because it takes 9 seconds to look it up. It takes just as little time to watch the whole thing you can see instead of just immediately hating just off of what they push in front of you, because pretty much nothing is ever just that simple. It isn't. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. But that all crazy shit, that's cemented in us, and all of us are going to see all of that for a very long time. All the hatred, all just the mean things that were said, the image of it is all going to be burnt into a lot of our brains, whether good or bad. Like, if you find that to be a good thing, fuck you. Sorry. But it pretty much sums it up. Go fuck yourself. And the rest of us are going to see it and just, be aghast by it. That's burnt into us too, and that's cemented into America for very long. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Look how long we still talk about some people, Martin Luther King, JFK, RFK, Malcolm X. I've heard a lot of people mention John Lennon, all kinds of other people. But we all still remember them. They said, we can all get along, dead. And if you didn't like his arguments, he still went there. And that brings up the next thing, all of us that don't see him as a fascist and all the people still saying he was. Like, clear that one up quickly. Fascists don't give an open mic to their opposition for them to express their views and openly debate them. They take them out and eliminate them. There's my hands getting wiped to that one. Definitional. Like, they take out and eliminate their political opponents. They don't give them a microphone, so that argument's dead. And hopefully that's cemented into people's brains as well, because you can't deny any of that. Like, that's by definition, that's what fascists do. They're not the ones giving them a microphone saying, here, tell me your thoughts. They're the wow. And it's fucked that people still believe that now. Like, all these people at universities saying it everywhere else. Like, the definition's there. People are too stupid to see it. So it just shows how ignorant most of the country is. All the people that claim to be educated and better, like, just Google it. Like, you could pull up all Oxford Dictionary, Merriam-Webster, all of them. Like, it tells you what it is. And, we all see that. And I think it's turned a lot of heads. That we see that. And, I hope this is the point to change all that. Now, I think it will. And now we're going to get to, the positive things, because I can't think about people celebrating his death anymore. And this might not be positive. I guess I can't say positive. But let's get to this. When people talking about, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, people that got fired. You have the right to say whatever the fuck you want, pretty much. Severe threats towards certain people, can cause, the government to get involved. But you pretty much can say whatever the fuck you want for the most part. But that does not stop an employer from firing you for being a pile of shit while you represent their company. Big smile with my half tooth. That doesn't stop them from doing it. They have the right to do that for their company's sake. We all know that. It has nothing to do with freedom of speech. It's how about you keep your miserable thoughts to your goddamn self? Because you could say it, the government can't do anything, but your employer can fire you for, causing what could be harm to the company with what you said. We all know that. I don't know how the fuck you missed that, but that's a real thing, which gets us to Jimmy Kimmel. Everyone's saying that's First Amendment. Okay. I believe it was the Sinclair Group. Anyone that's smarter than me that's watching this? Pretty sure they were the one. At least they're people that push it to the FCC. But guess what? There's regulations for the FCC. C4, networks, I believe, were between Sinclair Group and the other one. I can't remember their name right now. Nexstar? And they said, pull his shit. In fact, they told, I believe, they said, apologize. Boom, you can stay. He said he was going to double down. I can't ever imagine why he got indefinitely suspended, because they didn't even pull him. They just suspended him indefinitely. When they say apologize because you spewed some shit that's not real and you want to double down, you're going to get fired. I'd get fired. You'd get fired. Everyone would get fired. Why are we all mad about it? It has nothing to do with fucking First Amendment. Like, it's in the contracts with all of them. If they don't like what you say, they can pull your ass off of their networks. If they're affiliate stations, what fucking ever, they can pull you. Be a man, admit you were wrong, apologize, or double down. You're going to get fired when you double down. He didn't even get fired. He got indefinitely suspended, so fuck him. So there's that. And the guy from Sinclair Group is the one I believe that brought to the attention of the FCC. Because, by the way, what the View's been doing, what a lot of them been doing, spreading bullshit that can incite hate and all that, is against FCC regulation. Just because no one's been enforcing the fuckers for the last 4 years doesn't mean it's, not there. So that's why I brought it up to the FCC. Look it up. Again, Google. It takes 9 minutes. Not even, but I mean, if you're a slow reader, you want to stop and get a drink, you want to smoke a cigarette before you sit down, there's a lot of things you could do, but it's all right there. You cannot do those things by FCC regulations on the open air. Which I believe ABC, NBC, CBS, radio, they have all kinds of regulations and stuff that they cannot do by the FCC. Just because no one's been holding them accountable, you can't get mad because they're going against FCC regulations, and the FCC is like, especially after someone told them to look into it. The FCC didn't do it. You can go after Trump. And look, they spread all that shit. And what do we see? It was a shooting at a ABC station from outside in Sacramento. Yeah, because you spread the bullshit. People think that's what the bullshit is because that's all anyone does, and then stupid shit happens. Which had nothing to do with Kimmel, but everyone said it was Trump's fault, and ABC bent the knee to Trump, so everyone attacked that ABC station, everyone else. Guess what? It was an FCC regulation. His dumbass broke it. He went against things that the station stood for. They said apologize. He said I'm doubling down. He got fisted. The end. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with bad orange man. You guys getting just riled up whenever you see his goddamn face. Tried to save it. But that's the way it is. And people just hear it and immediately go off instead of just FCC regulation on this. You can look the shit up. I did. I was smoking a Black and Mild, drinking a beer. Screw it, let's have this available. There it was. Doesn't take much time. So there's that. This isn't an attack on the First Amendment. You can say whatever the hell you want, but if you're on a network, they have the right to pull you for it. If you're on the radio, they have the right to pull you for it. If you work for a private company and they see that you said some stupid shit and people know about it and it can harm their bottom line, you sign contracts, I'm pretty sure there's a clause, and they can get rid of you for it. It stops you from the government going after you. Doesn't mean people that pay your bills and employ you can't go after you for being a scumbag and making their business look bad. There's the end on that. See, I told you I'd get back. But here's the big roundup positive thing, with Charlie and all that, because I still, again, you still see it. I tried so hard that day to just keep working when everyone kept texting me about it, but so many people sent me the video. I just happened to accidentally click on the wrong thing. I was hoping it was just another story. Was it? His message, and his reach, and he might be gone, but the amount of chapters we see, people applying to get a chapter, turning point for their high school, college, and all that, like that's instrumental. That's amazing. That's, I don't want to use a biblical, but the number that people that have done it is amazing. That's people standing up. That's people saying enough is enough. This is what we believe in, and we don't care anymore because you took him out. And he was the nice one. He just sat there and talked. Everyone could say he's condescending, he says that or the other thing. He enjoyed making confrontation with people, like he enjoyed debating. And believe it or not, when you get people to that point, like to where, he's saying his piece, you're saying his piece, you don't like it that much, like when you get people that uncomfortable, that's when real conversations start happening. Maybe it's just in my experience, but that's where real conversations start happening. And I think a lot more people are willing to have a lot more of those conversations, or at least be open about where they stand with everything since this, this useless loss for nothing. Yeah, all the people crying again. I lost my job because that's my bad opinion. You're celebrating him losing his life because of his. So, bada boom, you're fired. That's how it happens. I think getting fired is a much better situation. But, I think his movement's, bigger. I think it's going to cement, I think it's cemented like church people going up. I've even, going to start reading, just going through the Bible again. I haven't in forever. I'm going to do it. Just because if it was, the thing he wanted to be remembered for is his strength and faith, and, apparently there's something in there. It's got to be that good. So I'm going to start reading it again. I don't care what you say. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to have to read everything a million times because my brain's, all beat to hell. But, I think it's worth it. And I think a lot of people thought it was worth it. And, I think this brought everyone on the right way more together. I think it got a lot more people on everyone's side. I think it woke a lot of people up. Whether it was the actual event, the response to it, woke a lot of people, up. They didn't go woke. They woke up. And, I hate that something like this had to happen in order for that to happen. But, sometimes that's the way it is. But he was just out there talking to people. In hostile territory, you go and talk to anybody. And they didn't like that. And really, it comes down to he was just too effective. And that's why things like this happen. I don't want to get into the details of the shooter or anything else like that, what God knows. But he was effective at what he did. And I think that this movement, got even bigger because it just woke so many people up. Got a lot more people engaged, a lot more people involved. And that'll be, again, part of the lasting legacy of Charlie Kirk. We might have seen, I said cemented into, like, the craziness of some people on the left. Yes, that's been cemented and we've all seen it. More craziness from them. Like, there's so much stuff, like their inability to understand FCC regulations, First Amendment, how anything works, like that's been cemented. But the most important thing, is his faith and his ability to just go and talk to anybody. And, I think that galvanized a lot of people. And I think that's what he wanted. A lot of us, never met him, but still feel a way about everything that happened. We didn't all agree on everything. No one does. But, got a lot of people into the conversation, woke a lot of people up. Just watch his whole clips. That's all I ask from people. Watch the whole thing. Don't just listen to bullshit clips that are edited down. And, you learn a lot. And, again, the most important thing that was cemented in, like, faith is really important and back. And, people have been sitting around, just letting the left do whatever crazy stuff they want to do, and just eating crow and just while we get shit on. And, this is the one, like, you took out the nice one. I saw that a lot. I'm sure we all saw it a lot, but you took out the nice one. Like, you go and talk to anybody. The rest of us aren't that nice. The rest of us aren't that calm. I try to be. I'll never be that good. Got a lot of facts. I will not stay that calm. And, but it woke a lot of people into a proper movement and showed everyone who, the real evil was, because this isn't left or right. This is just good versus evil. If you're celebrating, those children not having a father, you're just an evil person. You're a pile of garbage. You're a garbage human. You can't deny it. And I'm very happy to see so many people standing up and, finally saying what they think without fear. Even with what happened to Charlie, a lot of people are now standing up without fear, finally saying how they feel. And I think that's, the best thing we needed, because the left had no problem doing it. The right, a lot of us have always just been, a lot of people. We don't want to start a confrontation. We know it's going to happen. And a lot of people don't care about, that anymore. Like, screw it. It's what's right. And I think that's a very good thing, for everybody. I think it's going to keep growing. And I think that's what he'd want. I mean, I never met the guy, but, all I know is open dialogue. Like he said, second people stop talking, bad things start happening. And now they took him out for doing that. Like, I think very good things are happening because of that, because it woke a lot of people up that aren't just going to sit there and take it anymore. And, really, he was right, though. Once you stop talking, divorce starts happening, like all kinds of things. Civil unrest, war starts happening when people just can't even talk to each other. And I think this got a lot of people to start talking. Wish it didn't happen. Wish it wouldn't be here. Hell, I felt like garbage, which is why I didn't even share that episode I did after he died. Like, I think I did it once. Like, because I felt like some kind of scumbag for trying to share, even if it was my thoughts on what happened, just to get views, and I felt that was scummy. But again, the ceremony was beautiful, a lot of good speeches. Erica's been awesome through it all. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. You saw her in that video 48 hours later. But I think this is, going to lead to an evolution, and people are finally not just going to sit there and take it. And I think that's the best thing we could have in the country, because we've just been trying to get through the mayhem and not try to ruffle any feathers and cause any more stupidity. But, then this happened. And I don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. If you like it, fuck out. I don't need you. But, that's my take. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Or, hell, message me. Text me if you know me. I don't care. Reach out those emails I said earlier. I'll reach out. But I think that sadly, losing him woke a lot of people up, and, the movement's going to be bigger than ever. I just wish, he'd be here physically to be able to see it, because, it was a lot of his work. But love y'all. Share it. Peace.